After years of grinding, every skill maxed, every quest complete, I did what anyone else would do. Start an Iron Man. The Iron Man journey is ongoing, and quite frankly, never ending. But that account has reached horizons this one never did. At that point, is this account really a main? This isn't a fresh start, this is a comeback story. Welcome to Main Character Energy. It is time. Rising from the metaphorical ashes, we have returned to our main normal account. First things first, let's pull the GP we have stashed away in the Grand Exchange. Yes, the Grand Exchange and not the bank. And that's because my bank is full. Being free to play, we only have 460 slots, but I have 698 items in my bank, so I couldn't even put my GP back in. Over the years, I've still used my main account to split out raid items, GP, whenever I pull anything on the iron, and I need to split out. So without further ado, let's buy one bond. We're just going to do one bond for now. Oh my goodness, 15.3 mil. Alright, we'll be taking that. At least when I buy it, I don't have to convert it into a tradable bond. So we're just going to redeem the one bond for now. Although we're likely gonna be playing for more than just 14 days, but one bond to get us started with. You can see that we have 1.4 bill. Quite a lot of GP, but at the same time, not a lot of GP. Because, well, we don't have a twisted bow, and we need to get one back. I actually can't afford a twisted bow right now. At this point in time, the twisted bow is worth 1.55 bill. Somewhere around there. So we're actually going to need to make some GP. Or at the very least, sell some items. I think that's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to sell some items to make sure we can get our twisted bow and have our 3 mega rares. Bond redeemed. We are now on a members world, and our first order of business is finding something to sell so that we can afford a twisted bow. Honestly, I hate selling items, but you know, I think right now it's for the best considering we lack one of the mega rares. I had to get rid of my twisted bow because, well, a long time ago I pulled a second scythe on my Iron Man, and instead of dropping the scythe over, I just split it out because these days I play 2 GIM accounts at once. Right now we're just taking a little bit of a break from that grind, the Iron Man grind, and obviously we've returned to the main account. We have a lot of things to do and we're just getting started. Alright, we are dumping a whole bunch of items. First things first, Spectral Spirit Shield, goodbye for now. I will buy you back one day. Dragon Warhammer, goodbye for now. I will buy you back one day. Ancient God Sword. Dragon Fire Ward. Wow, the Dragon Warhammer is not even insta-selling. That is tragic. Okay, that is gone too. That brings us up to 1566. 1.5 bill. Can we buy a twisted bow now? Oh, okay. We don't have enough GP. Let's find something else to sell. Dragon Hunter crossbow. Temporarily part ways with you. Now we can buy the twisted bow, surely. There it is. Twisted bow reacquired. And actually, let's make sure we fix our bank. We're going to have to insert the twisted bow right here. First order of business, we are going to be doing some trio challenge mode Chambers of Xerix. Now I'm struggling the gear here, and this is just a funny occurrence, funny thing here. I'm struggling the gear on my main because all my inventory setups, my presets, are from my Iron Man, but my Iron Man is actually more geared than my main account. There's a long list of items that we don't have on this account that we do have on the Iron, and that makes gearing up so much harder. For one thing, we don't have Oathplate, we don't have anything from Yama, and we don't have anything from Mocha. And beyond that, there's a few key differences. We don't have the Twisted Ancestral kits on this account either, whereas we do have them on the Iron. So I had to search up the Ancestral Robe set because it didn't show up in the inventory setup. Likewise, with the Scythe, we have the Holy version on this account, whereas on the Iron, we have the Sanguine one, the Blood one. And currently we just have 30 mil GP to our name after repurchasing the Twisted Bow, so we can't afford any of these upgrades. Alright, let's get started here. I don't even have a chugging barrel on this account. It's embarrassing, really. Alright, am I going to get the privilege of getting an overload? It's a different perspective because I'm a main now, you know, I'm a dirty main. Oh my god, they actually avenged me. That's right, that can happen now. Because of all the new gear and all the meta shifts, the available gear I do have, you look at me and you can tell I just haven't logged on to this account in a long time. On this account, I do have a lot of Chambers KC. I have about 800 to 900 regular Chambers KC, but I don't have very much. But as I was saying, I don't have a lot of CM KC, so none of my ancestral pieces are kitted. I lost the overload privilege. Oh, why am I scabbing? I should make them scab for me. I gotta remember how to play a main. I gotta remember. Oh my god, I can use shared. Oh wow, yeah. Oh my god, I'm a dirty main and I can use shared. This is amazing. They're dropping me overloads. Oh my goodness. Playing a main has broke my brain. I don't know what's going on. Oh my. I don't know what's going on. On the bright side, I'm using dragon arrows freely. Oh my god, he made vials for me and shared. I don't know what my scythe looks like. It doesn't look like how it normally does. I'm confused. I'm very confused. First raid back on this account. Surprisingly, not a new PB. I thought that would have been free. Okay, we got an elite clue scroll. Whole bunch of ores. You know what? Instead of all of these ores sitting in my bank, this is going to go into the GE. Or some GP. That was, I mean, that was only 340k though. Hey, where's the purple? Unfortunate. 700k though. 2 challenge modes in. This is what our collection log looks like on this account. Much less interesting than on Wait For It. But we still pulled some mega rares. We got the Twisted Bow, which funny story about the Twisted Bow pull actually. I spent over a year potting nothing but chambers on the Iron Man in my quest to get a Twisted Bow as my first mega rare on that account. Unfortunately, over a year, I didn't get the Twisted Bow and I ultimately started burning out on Iron Man. And I played my main once again. And then on the very first day where I started playing the main again, lo and behold, I pulled a Twisted Bow. And I called it too. I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? This stint on the main, I wouldn't be surprised if I pulled the omelet where I actually need it on the Iron Man. And ironically enough, on this account, I don't have the metamorphic dust, whereas on the Iron Man, I have 7 of those bad boys. Anyways, we are 145 CMs in on this account and no kit. So I guess I'm pretty unlucky on kits on both accounts. We're actually closing in on 2, or I should say closing in on rate for 2 kits, but we have none. I believe these things are 1 in 75. For context, on the Iron Man, we are well over 1200 CMs completed, but we only have 7 kits on that account. Not that it really matters after 3, but it's just the point about being dry on them. No PB, 10 Quorum Seeds, 21 Runite Ore, 247k. Okay, a new PB on this account. Where are the purples though? Well, we did 5 trio CMs. Unfortunately, no purples. We did get a new PB though. Not an overall PB between accounts, as I actually flexed the Iron Man's PB right there, 2328. But we got ourselves a 2349. Where are the purples? Where are the kits? Where's anything? 650k though. Oh my god, a purple. A deck scroll. That is worth 39 mil. I think it went up. Nice, we made some money. This was the 7th CM today, trio CM, so we finally got a purple. And I believe that is actually purple number 42 on this account. And we have 91 on the other account. That was also our 150th CM, so we are now 2x dry on a Twisted Ancestral Color Kit. Oh man, it's a long time since I've done this. to the Grand Exchange, offer up the purple we just got. Insta sells for 37.9 mil. Alright. The team raids are done for today, but I decided I'm going to go for some solo CMs. But before I do that, let me just hit the Grand Exchange real quick and get a chugging barrel. I don't know how much this costs. Obviously, on an Iron Man, I'm going to have to do it myself at the mixology lab, but looks like it's about 6.1 mil. You know what? That's not too bad, honestly. Alright, we've sorted out a solo CM setup here. Let's pot up and get started. While we send the solo CM, I'm going to disclose my thoughts on what exactly our game plan is on this account. Obviously, with the little intro clip that we made, our goal is to, well, catch back up to our Iron Man in a sense. Our ultimate goal, I would say, is to get Radiant Oathplate. And honestly, that's the main motivation for playing this account again. I want to make sure I get Radiant Oathplate and then hop back on to the Iron Man and get Radiant Oathplate there. But when I set out to do that, I realized I had a lot of things I needed to do first. For one thing, this account doesn't even have Wild Gothic Sleeps done. And obviously you need to do that for the Tormented Synapses, therefore the Emberlight, the Purging Staff, and the Scorching Bow. So quest-wise, we need to do that. And then, oh, I just ate a 50 there. That's unfortunate. And then beyond questing, we're also missing a lot of items on here. The first thing we did was buy back a T-Bow, which put us back 1.5 bill, 1.6 bill if you include the bond and maybe buying some supplies and stuff. So yeah, we need to make a lot of GP, because not only will we have to do Wild Gothic Sleeps, but then we're going to have to buy the Synapses, we're going to have to buy the contracts for Radiant Oathplate, and obviously on that grind we're going to be dying quite a bit. It's going to be a learning process. The bosses are going to be tough, the contracts are going to be tough. So yeah, we need a lot of GP. Along the way, while I make GP, I'm probably going to do other things. For example, I'm in Chambers right now, and I actually need to get Twisted Kits for my Ancestral. And then if the opportunity arises, I would also like to get some hard mode top kits for this account. I would much prefer the Blood Scythe rather than the Holy Kit Scythe. Along the way, we might also find ourselves re-obtaining Master Combat achievements on this account. We are Master Combat on the Iron Man, and once upon a time, we were Master Combat on this account. With all the updates that we've missed out on this account, we are no longer Master Tier. I'm actually not sure what my solo CMPB is on this account. Let's find out. The command is PB Cox 1? No, Cox CM 1. 3338, okay. That's actually pretty fast considering I haven't done a solo CM on this account in absolute ages. Yeah, it's actually quite fast. Especially considering that, I'm going to add some context here. I never do any tightrope skips or anything like that. I just full prep, do the raid as is. So in that sense, a 33-minute raid. Pre-quality of life changes at Chambers, no less. A 33-38 is pretty fast. So yeah, you see right here as we're prepping for Ice Demon, I have an Arc Light, not even an Ember Light. You know, I didn't actually check how many Ancient Shards I have. I gotta imagine I have plenty though. But if we end up not having much available, I'm gonna have to just do Ice Demon the OG way while I'm doing CMs. At least until I do Wild Gothic Sleeps and obtain a Tormented Synapse. But yeah, to, I guess, summarize or double back on what I was saying earlier, the ultimate goal rebonding this account and gearing it back up is to get Radiant Oathplate. And then shortly afterwards, ideally, I would be farming contracts on the Iron Man in the meantime, and then I'll be ready for that on the Iron Man. I pretty much employed the same strategy back when Blood Torva was a thing. I first did it on the main account, and then when my Iron Man was finally in the position to do so, I Got Blood Torva on the Iron Man as well. Okay, I think it's safe to say that even though we don't have the Emberlight, the Arclight that's still the next best thing. With Ice Demon being actually weak to Demon Bane stuff now. You know, I was expecting to get a new solo CMPB on this account, but with the 3338, I might not, to be honest. But yeah, doing CMs is actually knocking out multiple things at once here, right? I'm going to be making GP. The nice thing about playing the main is I'm going to be making GP whether or not I pull purples. Obviously, the purples are where the real money is, but hey, you know, sometimes soloing CMs, even without a purple, you can make like 1 mil per run. We're just on day 1 of rebonding and playing the main again, so we got roped into some CM, so I'm just keeping with the theme right now. But I think priority number 1 is honestly to do while Guthic sleeps. So I think in this old Torva setup, you do want to put your sight on accurate for Vanguards and Tecton. And you know, the Bellator probably is the better pick too. It's weird because with the items I have on this account, I kind of have to think back about what the meta was and not what it currently is. So we may have made a few minor mistakes with our setup here. For one thing, I definitely didn't used to bring the Mage's Ring in. I would bring Bellator Lightbear combo, but right now we're rocking the Ultor Mage's combo. But hey, you know, we're not speed running or anything right now. We're just trying to make some money and get some twisted kits. So despite being a main, because of our current GP situation, we might actually just end up Iron Manning some of the items we need. I think it'd be pretty interesting perhaps to try out solo Yama and get ourselves Oathplate. Just floating that idea out there. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but it could be something we could consider. We are going to have to do some Yama regardless anyways, whether we buy the Oathplate or earn it ourselves, because we do need double death charge from there. So with potentially Iron Manning earning ourselves the Yama loot, we could also consider that for Mocha as well. And you know what? We spoke about trying to re-obtain Master Tier CAs. Well, we're going to have to get the CAs done from those bosses anyways. That would help our case getting Master CAs. This situation I'm in is pretty unique, I would say. My Iron Man is actually better geared than my main account. And just due to the nature of when I swapped over from playing a main to a Iron Man, and all the time I've put into the Iron Man rather than this account, even if the accounts had identical gear, the Iron Man, at this point, you know, all the KCs are there. Like, I'm well on my way to 2K raid capes. Collection log is a bit more filled out at all the bosses. I really did switch over to playing Iron Man at a pretty early time. The only things I really did as a main account was a whole bunch of Zulrah. I did learn the solo chambers. Regular though, not challenge mode. And I maxed account and ultimately got an Infernal Cape. And when I did get the Infernal Cape, that was pretty much the exact moment when I was like, well, time to move on. Time to play Iron Man. So in the grand scheme of things, I really didn't experience playing Mainscape that much. Well, I wasn't exactly prepared for this, but... oh, I think we just did it. Nice. Yeah, I was not prepared to teleport skip, but... we did it. Our ZCB missed. That is tragic. Alright, on our way to Ulm. Okay, in we go. Unfortunately, with the lack of Avernic treads, we have a weird 9-way switch. But hey, this is how it was. I believe without the Confliction Gauntlets and the Avernic Treads, we're actually losing out on like 3 mage max hits. Pretty significant. Let's get the melee thrall going. P1 complete. Yeah, we're very unlikely to get a new PB here. I get the feeling that 33-38 PB we have on this account, we at the very least did like a half skip on Tightrope. Meaning we killed the Rangers and just tanked the Majors. And perhaps we more optimized our prep, like maybe did like a small prep. Okay, well, we hit a 71 right there, and it was not a max hit, so I think I might be correct that 72 is the max hit. Oh, that's not good. Luckily, we had a pretty clean P1. And most of P2 has been okay. So our supplies are looking great. And that's in thanks to our Maul actually hitting on both P1 and P2. The Bellator is especially beneficial for when your hammer misses. And considering we're using an Altor, I guess, you know, it does make the hammer a little bit more likely to land, I guess. Alright, we are on P3 now. Instantly in cycle. Fantastic. On the head phase. Oh, that was unfortunate timing. On the prayer drain. Unfortunate couple of zeros there, too. One more hit. Okay. 5 HP left. One more hit. Or the thrall might even finish it. All right. 34-19. Yeah, that just goes to show, you know, that was a very, very casual run, and we were only about 30 seconds off, 40 seconds off from our previous PB that we got a long, long time ago. And as I said earlier, even when you don't get a purple, as a main, looking at the regular loot, this was 845k, not too bad. Well, that's going to do it for the opening episode to this new series. By the end of the series, I hope to have Radiant Oathplate, but we'll see what we get up to along the journey.